I put that on God. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Chop and Brew. I'm here in the house of Bob Sodman, where we just had the most epic Mardi Gras weekend brunch, lunch, party, whatever you want to call it.
A little bit of everything.
We're here in front of the Mardi Gras tree.
There's a little baby.
From the king cake. Actually not. The king cake baby got...
We ate it.
Yeah, we ate it.
We ate the baby.
I ain't gonna feel too good tomorrow. So we just want to tell you about some of our favorite dishes for Mardi Gras. We're up here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Snow's still on the ground. We're sitting here watching parades streaming from New Orleans. And in that spirit, we got together and cooked. I would say we actually kind of knocked it out of the park.
We didn't do too bad.
Yeah, this isn't going to be super in-depth because I literally have about 11 minutes of card left on this camera. So we're going to do a lightning round. Maybe we'll follow up with real episodes of these dishes.
Absolutely.
But we did jambalaya, shrimp etouffee. Phoebe, your wife, made a king cake.
From scratch.
I made Creole bread pudding. You made pork belly candy.
Rillons.
Let's start with that super quick. What's the process?
So the rillons, we took 2 pounds of pork belly, cubed it 1-inch squares, and then a little salt in a pan. Then we did red wine, 2 cups of sugar.
Woo.
Basically made a wine caramel sauce. Pour that over the pork belly, and that actually went in the smoker at 400 for about an hour and a half. Rendered down all the fat, and came out just absolute candy. It was delicious.
Like little nuggets of pork belly.
Little bites, little mouse-sized bites. That's the plan. Like, you didn't want to bite it in half all in one.
Then the bread pudding, we need to do that first because it cooked the longest. So that's a mixture of like milk, vanilla, nutmeg, egg. You take day-old bread that's been busted up into 1-inch cubes, soak it in that for 15 minutes so it soaks up all that liquidy, almost kind of like French toasty vibes, really. Raisins as well. After 15 minutes of soaking, you pour that into the pan, bake it for 45 minutes. You make this really nice bourbon kind of sugar. I keep wanting to say maple, but it wasn't. It was like a glazy sauce.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was a syrup. So.
Yeah. Little cornstarch, butter, pour that over the top. While that was happening, we had already prepped our bigger meals. So walk me through the etouffee super quick.
Etouffee was just a simple blonde roux, butter, flour. Took about 5-10 minutes to do.
What are you aiming for with a blonde roux?
Blonde roux, you're going to go with, for me, you're going to go with like a light, kind of a peanut buttery, not texture. Well, creamy peanut butter, but also that color of not quite brown, not quite tan, somewhere a beigey in between of the butter and the flour. Now, a dark roux, you're looking more like a chocolate sauce type of deal. And that's going to be, your half hour, 45 minutes, depending on how you cook it. This one I tried to do higher heat. Butter has a very low smoke point, so it's hard to do that, but just constant stir, keep it moving so it doesn't scorch. Once it gets to, at first it's kind of like this pasty texture. Once it starts all melding together and becoming that creamy sauce, that's when it's about ready to go in ready for your veggies to go in.
And start cutting it with stock in order to make it more of a stew base.
Correct.
What up, y'all? It's Brian Adams in here with Chip Walton and Bob. Bob's brewing up some stuff. It smells bussin'. Ooh, look at that. And then what's Chip Walton doing? Chip Walton reading, y'all. You ever seen Chip Walton with a book?
It's got pictures. It's got one little picture in the corner.
It looks like vegetables.
To make a chicken and sausage jambalaya from the book Cooking Up a Storm.
Yeah, we cooking up a
New
storm
Orleans
in here.
recipes from the times.
I can't wait. All right, bye, y'all.
Tossed in the Holy Trinity. Once that's sweated out, we popped in our stock and spices, and then our protein, which was some fresh Gulf shrimp, 2 pounds of that.
Soaking it in.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be hot, dude.
Uh-huh.
Don't burn your tongue.
Oh, yeah. Look at that's liquid magma on my hand. And we let that go until the shrimp cooked out to about 165, I want to say. Once the shrimp was nice and tender and ready to go, then we just let it settle, warm up, and cook off.
You yelled at me for turning the heat off completely.
I did, because it's. I mean, the roux constituted on top and started forming a skin. Unless you're starting to pack those things away, don't turn the heat off of something like that.
Okay. And
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
while that was going on, I made the jambalaya. I had already cut the onions and peppers before getting here. I'd cut up the chicken breast into dices, hit it with some Creole seasoning. So all of those things were prepped in their separate containers. Got here, we hit that oil in a pan, browned the chicken breasts cubes, added the andouille sausage, then the vegetables. And you're like, where's the rice? So the rice comes in, there's some water mixed with tomato paste. This version of the jambalaya has no actual whole diced or crushed tomatoes, just the tomato paste. Pour that in, so now you've got liquid, your proteins and your greens, and then you just dump the rice, 1.5 cups of rice over it. And the recipe from Cooking Up a Storm specifically says, do not stir. You just kind of pour it in. I obviously make sure I don't stir? I don't dump it in the middle. So there's like a mound of rice kind of spread over. But it's this thing of magic where over 15 or 20 minutes, that liquid that's now got all these juices from the greens, the veggies, the proteins. And you basically made this kind of like tomato stock, essentially. Really hits that rice perfectly, fluffs it up. When it's ready to serve, you just kind of fluff it. They say again, don't stir, fluff it. So
it's very Minnesotan. It's that hamburger helper-esque where you toss the pasta or the rice in at the end, and then you wait 20 minutes, and boom, it's done.
It's done. So we did all that. It was amazing. Phoebe made a king cake, the bread pudding. I made a beer. This is the Black Rose Imperial Stout. This is kind of a reference to Joe Cain Day down in Mobile. I'll put a link to that. We don't have time to explain what that is, but it's more important than Fat Tuesday to some extent as far as Mardi Gras and Mobile goes.
I had no idea.
And this is a beer brewed in honor of that. My friend Dan Murphy, it was his homebrew recipe, and then he brewed at Fairhope Brewing across the bay from Mobile for a few years way back. So this is kind of a stepped up and scaled back down version of an Imperial Stout. Turned in 2 weeks. It could use some more time, but I'm glad that it was the rush job to drink today.
It was beautiful. It went well with especially that bread pudding. Oh man,
very roasty.
I wanted to dip the pudding in it.
Oh, let's go try that. So, is there anything else? Did we miss anything? We watched a bunch of parades while we were here. We just kind of we re-queued some 2022 parades,
as indicated by the year in the corner of the screen.
Yeah, from Mobile, and then we tried to watch some Joe Cain Day parades from this year. Just a great vibe. I appreciate you hosting. I had this great idea.
Badass Brian Adams.
He
brought collard greens and cornbread.
Yeah, cornbread. Brian Adams brought Instant Pot collard greens. Do you want to come around here real quick and tell people how to make collard greens? Oh,
Yeah, buddy.
cameo.
He's not camera ready.
What up, y'all?
How you make collard greens?
How you make collard?
You get your onions and saute it in that bug. There's a saute feature of the Instant Pot.
There is?
Yeah, man.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so you saute it, and I use collard greens, mustard greens, and turnip greens. Trifecta. Washed them, chopped them up, threw them in there while it was sauteing, cooked down. Then I add my secret ingredients, and I'm not going to give you all those ingredients.
What?
Can you give us one secret ingredient?
Salt.
Salt. Okay.
And my daughter always wants Lowry's in it. You got to put some Lowry's in
Kosher?
it.
Himalayan? See that?
You know, the little thing you... So
that clears it up.
Special sauce. And then there's another ingredient, but I'm not going to tell you. And then ham shanks, cut it up and put it in there. Sealed it up for an hour and bussin'.
And it works so good in the Instant Pot, whereas versus that would be like hours and hours and hours.
Well, my parents used to do it with a pressure cooker, so Instant Pot's a pressure cooker. It just makes it faster.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Any special thing for the cornbread?
Oh, I put a can of green chilies in there. Yeah, threw that in there. Because I remember somebody's wife did that for pig out.
Yeah. Also
Right?
puts in like a dollop
Yeah.
of sour cream and the chopped up jalapenos and some cheese maybe on the inside, definitely on
Yeah,
top
you
at,
did, didn't you?
at the end.
So since Elsa was here, I was like, I'm throwing some chilies in there. It was good.
All right, it was a chop and brew holiday.
It was.
I need a nap.
Yep. Oh yeah. Chop for chop.
Brew for brew.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Maybe a full episode on some of these dishes coming soon, but we want to just give you a real quick lightning round Cliff Notes version. Happy Mardi Gras.
Cheers, y'all.
What are you giving up for Lent?
We got to give something up. Work. Ah, got him.
I put that on God.